Hey everybody, this is Dr. Kaz for Internet Radio WXYZ, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how I run the broadcast radio station with Sam Broadcaster. So I actually have it running in the background, so what I'm going to do is bring it up into the foreground, and here you'll see that Brad Paisley, Who Needs Pictures, is currently playing. So you have three decks. You have a deck A, a deck B, and an auxiliary. I don't really use the auxiliary. It's used for special things. You can actually listen to stuff while other things are playing, but it's kind of odd because you listen to both at the same time. Got a clock, got a voice FX here. What this does is this will allow me to actually talk on the air, and I'll talk about that later. I have a sound effects area. It has a whole bunch of sound effects. Electronic, gun explosions, human, miscellaneous, scream, creaks, and Halloween. I have voice tracking. Voice tracking basically is recording a voice over or something on that idea and then saving it to the system. Up in the top here I got a cue. So this is basically, this song is cued to play next after Brad Paisley's song. Then I have history, which shows the history of all the songs that it played. And here is my playlist. Here's all the playlists that you can possibly want to play. A is basically what you're looking at. B, this one here is where the encoder is. And when you're doing anything on the internet, you do have to have an encoder, and you have to be piping it to a source like Live 365 or some type of shoutcast or some other miscellaneous sites. Like here I popped them up. Here's some different ways of doing things, and basically you would pick one, and then from there you go into the configuration, how to configure it. Static relays, basically what that is Live 365 is actually sending me the information back to me to tell me, one, I can have a max of only 10 viewers. That's all I can have a max of, and that's unpaid viewers. If I have somebody that's VIP, it doesn't matter how much it is. Currently I have no users on because I just reset the station anyway, but there's no users on. Sometimes on the weekend I don't get a lot of users anyway. And then I have an event log, which basically shows what song was last played and actually tells you what deck it was on. Over here it shows that here's the queue again. Here's the event scheduler, which I'll go into a little later. PAL scripts I'll go into later. Again, I can see the decks A and B here. I don't care about auxiliary, so I don't show it here. And again, I have a clock. On desktop C, I have an FTP log. I don't really use this. It's just up here just for no reason. It's just there. But what it would do is if you were FTPing something to your website, it would sit here and show you that something got queued in. Or you can have queued where it was sitting there waiting for something to go in. Again, the clock. I have a static relay graphic. So what this is this is actually showing down here. I don't know if you can barely see this, but there's like these little blue dots and lines. Normally they're already across, but because I had to reset the system. When you have somebody online, it'll actually pop up here. And then you have a request. Yeah, I can do requests, but my website isn't working correctly. I've been tinkering with it for about a year, trying to figure it out off and on, and I have a regular daytime job, so I don't really mess around with it much anyway. Again, my queue, my history, and a fade control. You can control how things are faded in and out. This next button is, let me go back to A, is configuration. I don't use this one. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to talk about it. Members details, this has something to do with where my system is logged in to, what's it called? I can't find the stupid thing. I know it's in here somewhere. I'll figure it out. It puts my information on another website. It's basically what it's doing. Here's just some station details, on my website, www.wxyz-radio.com. Yeah, please check it out if you want to listen to some pop and country and some other various stuff. That's where it is. And you load in your email address. You can put your AIM or CQ number in here if you want, but didn't quite do that. static relays, I've only got one. I'm not sure how many you can put in here. I think you can broadcast to multiple stations at the same time, as long as you're meeting all the rules. This is a pipeline mixer. I don't really play with this. I just do it with the default. I'm not a pro at this stuff, so a lot of this stuff is just out of the box, and I leave it alone. Crossfading, gap killing, rotation list. Okay, here's the rules I was talking about. Do not play albums within 191 minutes. Same with artists, same with titles, same with tracks. So I've got it set at 191 minutes, and let's see what that actually comes out to, because, actually it's an hour and a half, but I'll do the divided by, well, it can't be divided by that. 191. Yeah, I'm not a mathematician. Okay, so that's 3 hours. Okay. So that's really 3 hours right there. So I've got it set, everything set to 3 hours by using what I'm doing. So I add the extra minute just for make sure. Underneath here you have web scripting, logic, clock wheel, weight balancing. I pretty much just deal with the clock wheel. I don't mess with the other two settings. But here's where it's, you can see this long list. I'm just scrolling down. There's 18 items, I guess, in here, showing that I'm playing music, country, music, country, music. So music is basically anything that's going to pull out of the thing, but country music, country is specifically only in the country category. That's all this stuff. So you have, when you're adding something into here, you want to enforce the playlist rotation rules unless you're someone special, but I have to enforce them. And these are the different types of methods you can use for how you want the music to be pulled from the system. And then it puts it in here, you hit save, and you're basically done. It comes with the default. The default one, I think, tells it to use tracks. And then you build all these other ones. You can do a search. Like if somebody wanted to know of a song called I Love You, then you can type in the word I love you, and it comes up with some various things. 'Cause what it's doing is looking for this string within the subject line of the music. So here there's quite a few, and somebody would say, hey, I want it from Heart. Okay, you can do that. You can double click on it, and I just queued it. So what it will do is it'll start playing, and I'm not going to remove it, but it'll start playing and playing through its thing. There is a request section. Audio Realm is what that password and username thing was for. But I have to delay the request by 60 minutes. That's per Live 365. It's enabled, but it's not really doing anything. This is just some general information. A default auto DJ, automatically check for updates, that type of thing. HTML output, right now it's not doing anything, but what it does is when a song plays, what it can do is it can update your website with a specific page that says, hey, song's now playing and stuff like that. There's a couple things you can do with this. And then, that's my registration key, so you don't need to see that. All right. So in this, let's talk about adding songs. In Sam Broadcaster, and I didn't forget to mention this, about a couple $100, but I found it to be the simplest one. You can run it straight out of the box, don't have to configure a dang thing, and you're rocking and rolling on the internet. Oh, other than doing your encoder. Obviously, you have to have your encoder running. But other than that, if you want to do it in your house or something, you can do that. Or if you are like a DJ where you take your stuff and go someplace, you can do it with this too. It's just, out of the box, it's ready to rock. But you need to add music. And I have a 1 terabit storage drive that I currently store all my music on. And believe me, that is plenty. It's more than plenty. And like I said, I got 11,000 songs. So to add, you just go and you basically say, hey, I want to add by directory, by file, by URL, or playlist. Well, most of the time I'm adding by directory. So I go out to my shared drive and go underneath my music, and here is a list of all the music. that is sitting out there. This basically by whoever. I'm not going to actually import anything because all these are already imported. But I can go out there and say, hey, I just loaded Maroon 5. Maybe what I did is I uploaded one of their new. Now I'm running this on a Windows box, so so what I can do is when I upload a new album, I put it underneath here, and I more or less have to mentally make a note of which one I added, and then I can just click on this, and basically I could go OK. Now, if I was just brand new and I just uploaded all these, because basically these are all RIP CDs, but or downloaded from iTunes, I could select this level, and down here it says include subdirectories, and I can go OK, and it would upload every single song underneath all these subdirectories. Or I can just pick the one, and that's it. Usually at this level, there's nothing lower than that. It's just all the songs. And then what it would do is it would pop up on the bottom of this list, down at the bottom. Obviously I didn't do that, so but once you import it, I'm just gonna right click on one of these, and there's a bunch of options in here. You go to song info. The information, label, composer, buy CD at so and so, the track number, these are not in here. So what you can do is kind of has a neat feature. It says Amazon search. It goes out to Amazon and it goes and finds the thing. So you can see that the album name is MTV Unplugged, so it says MTV Unplugged and 10,000 Maniacs. And again, the artist, and then you would apply it. Okay, I don't have to apply it because I've already got it there. But what it will do, it'll also, I think it also fills in some of these specific informations on this reporting tab, which I'll go over in a second. So after you put that in there, you can apply the album, and what you do is if Mariah Carey wasn't on this album, which I'm not sure if she is or not, so I'm not going to reapply this, but if she wasn't, you could just easily go over here and just uncheck all hers, and then you can say OK, do OK, and it would apply it to every single album. Now it has some advanced features where what you can do is this particular area here where it says rock, it has a whoops, let me cancel this so I can change this. Well, I'm not actually going to change. Has all the different types of music types that people listen to, and you pick one. Well, say the one that was for here wasn't really rock. Say it was supposed to be pop or country or something else other than that, or you wanted to change it to something else. What you would do is you would select none, uncheck this apply value only to empty fields, and then hit this, check this block, and then what it will do is it will only apply the changes to this. Now you have to uncheck this because the value is already there. So what this means, if I left this here, it'd only apply it if the value was empty. So I'm overriding what's already filled in, so I want to do that. Then you hit OK, and obviously I'm not going to because it would mess something up. On B, I forgot to mention this too. Underneath these categories and contents, you can create subfolders, and it's just easy to just right-clicking on the high one, going new, and naming it. So you always name it. You always do it from this level. I don't think it'll let you. Well, you can put new in there too. Yeah, if you click this one, this is kind of like a default one. It won't let you create a folder underneath it because these are really underneath it. So these are all the different folders. So this is like the catch-all for everything in this group. So this is everything in here. But in this specific folder, I have just this music, and then hot pop song, hot country, and top 10, and I'll get back to that later. So I got a bunch of other things in here, different station IDs, news. You put all your different things underneath these different categories, and then you have these special groups where you can go by artist, and you can do searches by artist, by title, year. Matter of fact, when I made my 1980s section that for playing on every Wednesday, I just went down here and just all I did was I went to where's 1980? 1980. I just basically highlight these just like that, and then I've got this one directory called 80s, and all I do is drag and drop it into here. It doesn't move it from here. It just puts an instance of it in here, because keep in mind your music is really not within Sam Broadcaster. It's pointing to my terabit drive. It's pointing to your shared drive, or it's pointing to your hard drive if you're putting it on the local hard drive, is where it's pointing to where the music is. So it's just a pointer. And I am using MySQL as the database for this, which appears to be a good robust one. It will work with MS Microsoft SQL as well, and there's another one out there. I can't Fire or something. I can't remember what the heck it is, but anyway, I did this for all these. I just went down through them and dragged them in here, and so in here I have the 80s. Now I've also went out and downloaded some other stuff so that I have it in here as well. So I have about, I got 1,500 80s music that plays on Wednesday, and obviously it doesn't all play. So like I said, the encoder, that's just saying, hey, I'm going to pick a place to send it to. I set it up, and then I encode, and I'm good to go. This is the same thing. It's same settings, except it's pulling the static relays, pulling the information back from the site. Okay, Event Scheduler. Event Scheduler is a way you schedule events. Basically, between the Event Scheduler and the PAL script and the queuing out of the clock wheel is how the stations run. It's in automatic mode, 24/7, 365, unless I step in and say something on the air. So I run my station jingles. I run featured artists, pop songs. Let's see what else. Oh, the 80s and the Halloween music that I'm going to be running. And then I have some other special things that run down here. So let's take a look at one of these event schedulers. Let's see. Well, we'll pull this one up. Okay, so this one here is playing, is where the play hot pop and country songs. Okay, so make this a little bigger. Okay, and it does it at 8, 4, and 12 a.m. and p.m. Monday through Friday. So it doesn't do it on Saturday and Sunday because I've got the top 10 running. So I decided not to do it on that one. Do it on that days. So in here, it's telling it to queue this specific random play, hot random play. It's an intro song. Intro. It's, in other words, it's my voice saying something. But in this case, what it's doing, it's pulling and loading the specific. It's adding the file. See, it says add file. It's adding the specific file from my hard drive because it tells you that. It's like X drive, music, blah blah blah. The ones below it are different. These are pulling it from the category with inside Sam Broadcaster. It's just pulling the pointer in. It's not pulling the song in, it's just pulling the pointer in. The song doesn't get pulled in until it actually gets queued. Actually starts playing in the deck, really. Now the queuing is just, again, the pointer. But once it pops it into the deck, then it's actually playing the song. And again, I got rules enforced. And then the next one down here is country. It does the same thing, and then it pulls out of hot country songs. And it only does 10. So what it does is it loads this one. It loads all this at the same time. It just goes bam, 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 all the way down. It loads it at the bottom. It says down over here, it says IP bottom, Q bottom. This is the same thing. It's just the different way it's doing it. Different terminology. But it's queuing everything at the bottom. So if you imagine this is at the bottom, then this becomes the bottom, then this one, and then this, and this. So everything's queued at the bottom, so it's in line. All right. I have one here where what it does is it will load 80s music on Wednesday. Now this is a clock wheel. Now if you remember in the configuration I showed you the clock wheel settings. Well, this is a clock wheel that pulls it just from the 80s queue, or from the 80s folder. And what it does is on midnight on Wednesday morning at midnight, it loads the queue into the config file and makes it the clock wheel for the whole day. And then at the end of the day, on Thursday at 12 a.m., it loads the normal clock wheel, the one I showed you, back in so that it's playing the normal rotation. Now there's 2 entries in here. You can see how I got one scheduled for execute. Basically this means it executes on every Thursday, and this is saying this is going to execute on the 1st of November of 2014. The reason why I have this one in here is because the day before is Halloween, and I'm going to load Halloween music all day. My top 10, same thing. It's basically just going here and pulling stuff. It's either pulling it off of the hard drive, which is adding a file, or pulling it out of a category. And let me give you a glimpse of what I do with top 10. So I'll go back here, and this one here is the top 10 pop songs. So here you'll see that there's 10 songs. Now, I'm going to tell you, you can't just put them in line like this and then just take this category and say, hey, let's play them, and it's going to go boom, boom, boom right in line. It won't work. You can put it in reverse order. You can do however you want. It won't work that way. They're just sitting in here because that's how I'm looking at them. It doesn't do it that way. It does a random pull. It won't, so you can't, especially if you want to put something, say, like number 10, and then play number 10, and if you leave it like this and say, hey, number 10, it may play number 2. So you can't really do it that way. And I'll go back to the event thing and show you how I did that really in there. So underneath this, I have 1P, 2P, 3P, all the way 4. Down here I have a country, and it goes 1C, 2C, 3Cs, because you cannot create a folder, no matter where you stick it, the same name. It doesn't matter if you stick it up underneath music play, or if you stuck it all the way down at the bottom underneath something down here. If you create a folder called 1, it won't let you create a second one. It'll come up and give you an error and say a folder already exists. So the way around that is to create one called 1P. 1P means pop. 1C, when you look at these, 1C is country. It's just, the number 1 country, whatever that one is. So you got 1, 2, 3. So each one of these, so number 10 is sitting in this folder. So you can see it's in here all by itself. All right. So you kind of get the idea of that, hopefully. Let's go back to B, and let's look in the country. Let's look at the top 10 countdown event scheduler that I have out here. Okay. So in here, what it's doing, 1, I'm just going to put these spaces in here, which is fine. 1, it's going to say, hey, I'm getting ready to play the top 10 countdown. Okay, it's my voice saying, hey, we're playing the top 10 countdown according to Billboard magazine, something on that idea. The next thing it's going to cue at the bottom is it's basically a recorded voice that says number 10. And then the next thing it plays, it's going to cue. Now remember, I created those folders called 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10 with a P in front of it. It's going to pull it from 10P. I'm putting no rules because I don't care if there's rules or not in this case, because this is the top 10 countdown, so I'm not doing any rules. I want it to play, so I'm forcing it to play. And it does, and I've got it set up that way. So these 2 lines are basically repeated, except it says 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then at the end, down here at country, it'll do the same thing. It has a country intro, and then it'll go country number 10, and then it will start the 10 countdown, and it'll go all the way through. And over here you can see I have it playing Friday through Sunday at 3, 9, and 6 a.m. and p.m. So it plays it at both times. Okay. All right, PAL scripts. PAL scripts are a little bit different. They're programming language. It's a programming language. You can find it online. It comes with, up here underneath help, there is a PAL quick guide, PAL scripting references. You can find PAL scripting all over the place. Well, actually not really all over the place, but Sam Broadcaster actually has a forum that you can go in and ask all kinds of questions. If you can't figure it out, you can search in there and find all kinds of nifty stuff. So one of them I have it playing the weather. Okay, this particular one is actually playing basically a podcast from the Weather Channel, and it's doing it for Washington D.C. because I live in Virginia. So it's a Washington, D.C. area. So this loop just means true, means what it's going to do is after it does this, it comes back up and it loops and it comes down. It just keeps looping. It's going to keep waiting, playing. So when it comes to this line, it tells us to wait for 30 minutes after the hour. That's what that means. 30 minutes after the hour, it will then go out to this URL and it will download the weather and pop it in here, and it will queue it, and then it will play it when it gets ready to play it. I have kind of a let's see, I have an extensive one here. I can't pull this one open because it's got some proprietary type stuff in it. But what this one is Twitter. Every time a song plays, like when the song is playing right now, you can see down here it's Love Has Come as the song is playing. When this one ends, it'll load a second one in here. As soon as this one starts playing, like a couple seconds after it plays, this Twitter will sit there and it will take the song, and it has some certain information, and it will load it and put it into Twitter. So if you're already looking at my Twitter, you're seeing those songs coming up and saying, hey, this song is now playing. That's how this is doing this. It's not me sitting here and going into Twitter 24 hours a day saying this song is playing, just cutting and pasting stuff in there. It's not me. It's automated. Okay, Fox News Network is the one I'm playing, or one that I use. So here, this is the code, and this code is going through, and it's going to play Monday through Friday every hour. This basically says what time zone I'm in, but this is all code for this particular thing. It was something I actually paid for. This one I'll go ahead and show you a little bit more, not as fast because the other one had some stuff. So this one I put together from looking at other PAL scripts. I do have a minor background in programming, so I can do some of this stuff. It's all logic anyway to me, so it's fairly simple. But so it goes through, and it's going to keep looping. This one's not really running anymore because I'm doing this with a clock wheel. This is with the 80s music, but I'm just showing you. It has a start time and an end time, so it was going to say, hey, at 0100 start playing, and at 2355 stop playing. Because SAN broadcasters in the 24-hour clock, not the 12-hour clock. And then this first line basically was saying, hey, while it's not, this means does not equal Wednesday, wait until 1 o'clock in the morning. So it's going to wait until the next day. And if it is Wednesday, then it's going to say, hey, start my time, meaning at 1 o'clock to 2300 start playing this stuff. Then cue 10 songs, and load up 10 80s songs out of the 80s category, and then wait for 5 to play. So if there's not 10 in there at the moment, it'll load until it equals 10, even if I got something else in there. And then it's going to pull all the songs out of the Cat 80 because this is where I'm telling it to pull. And I used one rule. I didn't make another one up. And then it's going to wait for play count 5. So in other words, after it plays 5 songs, it's going to load 5 more. And it would do that through the whole entire time. But I decided to change it and do it through the clock wheel thing. Alrighty. Well, that's really all I have. I'm sure I might have gone through it a little too quick. Hopefully I didn't. But if I did, you can always just put some comments at the bottom of the thing. I'm going to load this up on the bottom of the comments in YouTube. So, and there you go.